this episode of Trainspotting, after a day as a volunteer on the Welsh Highland Railway, Mark now knows the meaning of the term hard work. They're about to go into retirement, but not without making a bit of noise about it. I bid farewell to the Thumpers. Mark takes his car under the Channel, checking out the operations at Eurotunnel. And I make the pilgrimage to marvel at one of the wonders of the modern world, the settle to Carlisle.
There you go. Now, more often than not these days, you hear about line closures, but here at the Welsh Highland Railway, it's exactly the opposite. As you can see, they're laying more track. That's the good news. The bad news is I've been roped in to help, and it's back-breaking work. But I wasn't there just to lay track. I was spending a day as a volunteer on the railway and had started at the crack of dawn, helping the engine crew to prepare the loco for the day's duties. So what are you actually doing at the moment then, Mark?
Right, every morning I've got to clean the tubes out because the fire and the smoke, everything goes through these tubes, which boils the water in the boiler.
Well, Mark, the purpose of my visit here today is to, help out and volunteer, so can I have a go?
You think it's all glamour, don't you?
I know, yeah, it's all I have. Boyhood dreams of being in the cab and driving a steam train. But no, you don't get to see the mucky side of everything. Right. Now, Cedric, whilst Mark's cleaning out the boiler, what's your job here?
To oil the engine up, which means putting the right oil in the right hole. Oh, you want to have a go at oiling?
Yeah,
Oh, there you are, have an oil can. Well, yeah, you need to squirt it. And you've got all sorts of hidden little places, like, in there, please.
So, building a fire.
This is the fun bit.
I suppose it's like building a fire in your front room, is it? You start with paper, a bit of kindling.
Paper and kindling, yeah.
And what type of engine is this, Mark?
It's a 042 Bagnall, built in Stafford. And it worked out in South Africa, and it was discovered by some of our members on holiday there. And they bought it and brought it over here. Yeah, that's it for now.
Dave Seal, hello.
Hello there.
You're the guard today, but being a guard is a bit more than blowing a whistle and waving a little flag, isn't it? What do you have to do to prepare the train?
Essentially, I'm in charge of the train and have the responsibility for the safety of the passengers, and we need to make sure that it's clean for them.
Right, well, I'm a volunteer for the day. Thank you very much.
Well, if you do that, I can get on with cleaning the brasses.
Oh, OK. Because you love these carriages, don't you?
Definitely. It's my favourite part of the railway as a whole. I mean, this one, for example, that we're cleaning now, is actually built in 1892, and in that same year, Prime Minister Gladstone rode in the carriage to open the walking path up Snowdon.
And how long have you been a volunteer then on the Welsh Highland Railway?
I've actually been a volunteer all my life.
All your life?
Yeah. Well, my parents were volunteers on the railway before I was born, and it's just become something that I love so much.
Right, open the door, I've got some dust to come out here. The Welsh Highland Railway was opened in 1923, but it had a short-lived existence. Due to financial problems, it closed in 1937, and most of the track was lifted in 1941. An attempt to recreate the line has begun at both ends. I spoke to David Allen, who's the chairman here at Porthmadog. There are two sections to the Welsh Highland Railway, aren't there?
There are indeed. There's the northern section, which comes from Carnarvon up to the village of Rhyddhdy, which is about 10 miles in length. And then down here at the Porthmadog end, our section is about just under a mile in length.
And when the two lines are joined together, how long will the track be?
It will be 25 miles in length. It's the biggest piece of railway construction, I think, probably in the world. It's, for example, far bigger than the Channel Tunnel, and the views are considerably more interesting.
I mean, this end of the line is beautiful with these Welsh hills around. The Carnarvon end, is that a very similar scene?
The Carnarvon end is absolutely fantastic. You will see views of Snowdon and Snowdonia that you've never seen before. The scenery is unsurpassed.
You rely heavily on volunteers, don't you?
Almost 100%. They are essential for the safe and full operation of the railway. Today we have a steam loco on, Gellet, the driver, a fireman, a trainee fireman, all volunteers. We are extending the line. That is being built by volunteers.
And members of the public, if they take a ride on the train, it's not just a train ride they get here, is it? There's something else.
No, we only have a short ride, so we supplement that with what we think is a unique tour of the sheds. Members of the public are invited to see the coaches that are being built and to really get a hands-on feel of what it's like to be in a preserved railway.
As dusk began to fall, one of my last jobs of a long and tiring day was to help make good the loco before putting her back in the shed. A bucket of coal to fill the tender, ready for the next time. So that's what being a volunteer is all about. It's not just turning up to drive a train. As I found out today, there's more to running a railway than meets the eye. There's a whole host of jobs that need to be done, and it's the hard work and dedication of volunteers like these guys that enables lines like the Welsh Highland Railway to stay open for us to enjoy.
It's not glamorous, it's not pretty, but the locals here, they love it. It's been around about 35 years longer than you'd have expected, and it's not the look of it that makes people excited, it's the sound. The Marshlink line runs from Ashford to Hastings, and I was joined on the 924 by Chris Dan, who rather likes these noisy beasts and is trying to make sure that they don't become extinct. Chris, this is the main attraction, but what is it we're on?
We are on, actually, a Class 207 diesel-electric multiple unit built by the Southern Region at Eastleigh Works in 1962.
It's got another name, hasn't it?
Thumpers, yes. I think that's the name that, the nickname that everybody associates with these trains.
And why is it called a thumper?
It's because of the particular unique sound of the English electric engine which is driving this train at the front in the leading coach, which has this sort of do-do-do-do noise. Then it echoes across the countryside. And many people, it's very evocative.
They've certainly been around longer than the first anticipated, haven't they?
Yes, they were originally built in 1957, and as you can see, we're now in 2004, so it's well over 40 years.
But the end's near, though, isn't it, Chris, for these?
Yes, it is. This is the last route where it is all thumpers. The only other route where they do still run, but rush hours only, is on the upfield to Oxted and when they go through to London Bridge.
And it'll be a sad day when the last one pulls into the station.
It will, because it will be the end of an era. There's no question about that.
Now, obviously, the line remains. What takes the Thumpers' place?
What will take the Thumpers' place is the Class 170s, turbo-star diesel units, which, of course, are high-tech and belong to the 21st century.
Now, you and your society's allegiance obviously belongs to the Thumpers.
Yes.
What's your society doing about it?
Well, the society is called the Hampshire and Sussex Units Preservation Society. It's an awful mouthful, but for short it's called HUSUPS. And our aim is to preserve at least one example of one of these units, a Class 205 or 207.
And what are the plans? How far advanced are you on the project?
We have acquired a unit. It is in the stage of various stages of restoration.
Chris took me along to the Selhurst train care depot, where the HASSOP centre car unit is being carefully restored. So, Chris, this is it, the centre car unit. What have you had done to it?
Well, what we've had done to it, as you can see, is it's had a brand new roof. All the windows have been cleaned. The body has been filled in where there was a lot of rust and rot. The doors have been repaired and rehung. All the running boards, as you can see, have been done, plus the soul bar here has been cleaned, and all the essential pipework and stuff has been highlighted.
Nice colour as well.
Yes, this is the colour, in fact, as near as possible, that the unit would have had when it was built in 1962 when it first came into service.
So, have the members of the society been able to help out in the restoration of this?
Unfortunately not, Steve. Because of the condition that this coach was in when we first bought it, it was beyond our abilities to be able to do anything to it. So we had to seek professional help, and we did this through Keith Osman here, through South Central's train care depot at Selhurst.
Keith sounds like a man I need to go and see, you know.
He is indeed.
So Keith, tell us about the engine then.
Right, it's an English Electric 4SRKT. It's a 4-cylinder inline machine. It generates nominally 600 horsepower and it drives the main generator, which puts out 750 volts to the traction motor.
But above all, it's the noise.
It certainly is. It's unique. If you want me to start it up, we can
Yeah,
give
love
it a shot.
to. Excellent.
Okay, lovely.
So all good things must come to an end, and for the Thumpers, the end is near. But as we've seen through restoration and preservation, you haven't seen or heard the last of them yet.
Now, before I got into all this broadcasting lark, I used to work for French Railways, taking UK holidaymakers across the Channel and to various destinations in France. We'd have to take the train from Victoria to Folkestone, a ferry across the Channel, and then from either Calais or Boulogne to our various destinations. Well, now there's an alternative, and it's a rail alternative at that. 2004 saw the 10th anniversary of the opening of the Channel Tunnel. And I'm here at Eurotunnel set up at Folkestone today to see exactly what happens. Now, Richard, how many locos do Eurotunnel actually own then?
We've got 58 of these.
And this one here, is this used for passenger and freight?
Well, the original series of 38 locos were used for both sets of shuttles, both freight and passenger. But we're now dedicating locos to different sorts of shuttles.
Because there are more powerful locos that you're introducing now, isn't there?
Yes, the new ones that we've introduced are 7 megawatts, whereas the original ones were only 5.6 megawatts. I say only, but that's still a very, very powerful loco.
Because these are probably the most powerful locos in the world, aren't they?
That's right, they are, yes.
Because what have they got to haul? They've got to haul a certain tonnage?
Well, they've got to haul up to about 3,000 tonnes of shuttle wagons, up a gradient of 1 in 90, and be able to start from stop on that gradient.
And they've, what, 140 kilometres an hour?
And the speed is 140 kilometres an hour, yes.
Now, Richard, this is one of the new 97s. When were these introduced?
These were introduced in 2002 when we increased the number of shuttles that we have for the freight service.
And these are the more powerful ones?
That's right, the 7 megawatts, yes.
And how many bogies has it got?
Well, it's got 3 bogies. It's a bow, but we need 6 axles. And with the 3 bogies, we can get around the corners a lot easier without wearing out the rails.
Now, what's the formation of one of these? You call them rakes?
Yeah, they're rakes. Each shuttle is split into 2 rakes, the rear rake and the front rake. And this is the rear rake. And at the end of the rear rake, we have the loading platform, or the loading wagon, which is where we are now. And originally, there were 14 carrying wagons and a loading and unloading wagon at the end of each rake.
And these wagons, these are older type wagons. There's more metal on these than the other ones I've seen today.
Yeah, much more metal, yes. These were the original design, which had all sorts of equipment on them.
So at the far end of the train, that will be where the carriage is, where the drivers can sit and have their cup of coffee or whatever.
That's just behind the locomotive, yeah. Right. And there's a shuttle bus which picks the drivers up and takes them up there.
And here it comes now.
And then brings them back, yeah.
The total journey time from Folkestone to Calais is only 35 minutes. Running at an average depth of 40 metres below the English Channel, the tunnel is a staggering 50 kilometres in length, 32 kilometres of which lie beneath the water, making it the longest undersea tunnel in the world. The construction consists of 3 tunnels, 2 running tunnels, 1 in each direction, and a central service tunnel. Eurotunnel operate up to 6 freight trains and 4 passenger trains per hour, but other operators are allowed slots in the timetable. Eurostar run their high-speed passenger service from Waterloo to various European destinations, and the tunnel is now being regularly used by independent freight operators. The integration of these services is coordinated from this bunker-like building on the English side at Folkestone. The ultra-modern signal and control centre incorporates a huge mimic board where the progress of each train can be monitored at every stage of its journey. Now, this is one of the car transporter ones, Richard. You call them the tourist ones?
That's right, it's one of the tourist rakes. This is the rear rake, double deck. We're loading both the bottom and the top decks, and the cars drive in through these side doors of the wagon and then drive along until they stop, and that's where they stay for their journey.
So how many carriages would you have in this rake?
Well, each rake is 12 carriages with a loading and unloading wagon at each end. So with 12 carriages, we can carry up to 120 cars.
Any chance of getting my car on?
Yeah, of course. Just go and get it.
Excellent, I will.
Good.
So here we are then. Nice little day trip to France to end the day off. As we think they're going to put us on a lower deck. Yeah, looks like we're going onto one of these lower deck, right at the very back of this particular rake as well. How exciting. Well, that was very smooth and painless. One of over 400 journeys made under the Channel Tunnel every day by Eurotunnel. Now, I've got a few extra hours to spare, and it's the wife's birthday next week, so I think I'll stock up on some fine wines and champagnes.
Here's a quiz. See if you can work out where I am. I'll give you a few clues. It's made of stone, and lots of it. It took 5 years to build, it's over 100 feet high and a quarter of a mile long. Surely you recognise it by now. It's the Ribblehead Viaduct on the world-famous Settle to Carlisle line. The recent history of the Settle to Carlisle line has been fraught with threatened closures and last-minute reprieves. But now, it seems that its immediate future is in safe hands. Peter, presumably it must be a real privilege having this line as part of your portfolio.
Oh, it is. It is a privilege. It's a beautiful line, it's a beautiful area.
And with a line that's been threatened with closure in the past, you along with others have to make sure that never happens again, I guess.
This one is safe now, but it's safe through patronage.
OK, with that in mind, what have we got on the lines then?
Mostly pacers on this line for us. They have the advantage that we can join them together to double the capacity when we need to. Our flagship at the moment is this, the double loco hauled stock. That started in the autumn of last year and has been an absolutely terrific success. There's a lot of freight on the line now. A lot of cement is moved, coal from Scotland down to the power stations in Yorkshire.
And now you've got to this stage, I guess you're looking at ways of improving the service further.
Absolutely. Making sure the trains are big enough, make sure we advertise it well, and we increasingly market this area. It's a beautiful area, but we need to tell people about it.
Well, obviously you can't do it all on your own, so there must be other people involved helping you out.
Certainly, this line has a patron saint, so to speak, and that is the Friends of the Settle Carlisle. They've taken over many of the stations, and the guided walks they do and the guided train journeys they do are terrific. All that helps to build a patronage and keep the line safe.
One of the Friends who's been very instrumental in restoring the line to its former glory is Glyn Johnston. So Glyn, where are we now?
Well, we're at Settle Station. This is where most people's journeys start as they head north to Carlisle.
And how has the station benefited from the Friends' involvement?
Well, the station's benefited since 1990. A massive amount of work has been undertaken here by various organisations. And the footbridge, which we can see in front of us, that's been brought in and refitted. All the station seats, the Friends have renewed all these. The heritage lighting is based on the Midland-style gas lamps. When they're lit at night, they look absolutely superb.
And I can see a rather smart-looking signal box as well.
And that has been completely refurbished and rebuilt, and it's now used at weekends as a visitor centre.
From the relative comfort of the signal box, Glyn gave me a brief guide to his favourite stretch of the line.
The next station, as we travel north on the line, is a little place called Horton in Ribblesdale.
Heading on from there, we reach part of the line that I think everyone knows.
That's correct. Well, straight after Horton, the next area is the Ribblehead area, and of course there's the famous Ribblehead Viaduct. It's a superstructure, 24 arches, and built on the curve. The building of it itself was a huge task.
Tell us a bit about the history of the line.
Well, the history of it was the fact that it was built by the Midland Railway, and it was built as an alternative route to Scotland. You have the East Coast Main Line, the West Coast Main Line, and the Midland Railway wanted a direct route, and this is what they chose. There was many times during the building they wished they hadn't chosen it because it was an extremely difficult route to build on. Tunnels, viaducts and structures were required, and they did them and they built them well. They built them to high standards and they built them to last. Apart from the viaduct at Ribblehead, there are many others, and they all make up the part and parcel of the scenery and the history of this superb line. There's the one at Artingill, there's the one at Denthead, there's one at Dandrymire. They all have the individual characters. The main thing is they're all still working and going very strong today.
It's not just the viaducts though, it's the tunnels as well.
That's correct. The most well-known one is without doubt the one at Bleemore. It goes right through the High Pennines, and while you're in the Bleemore Tunnel you can feel the line levelling out and starting to run down on towards Dentdale. A beautiful part of the line. The scenery up there is absolutely superb, summer or winter. And the line runs round onto the station at Dent.
And Dent Station itself has a claim to fame, doesn't it?
It does indeed, yeah. It is the highest mainline station in England. But we move on from Dent, then it's a climb up to Aysgill Summit, which is the highest point on the line. Then it's a gentle run down, all the way down to a place called Kirby Stephen, down what we call Mallerstang, which is once again beautiful scenery. And then it's on towards the market town of Appleby in Westmoreland as it's like to be called.
And Appleby Station was one of the few stations that did stay open throughout the whole period.
That's correct. Appleby Station did have a claim to fame that it never closed, that's settled, and it's now thriving. And it actually won last year the Best Kept Small Station Award.
But why is it that people keep coming back? What draws them in? What's the magic?
Well, the magic is the ride on the train. The magic is the history of the line, and it is to me the beautiful countryside. And usually people who've never been on it before, it strikes them and they're never disappointed.
So, did you buy your wife any fine wines and champagne?
Yes, I did, actually.
Did you bring anything back for me?
Nope, wasn't your birthday.
So what did you get her?
Actually, I found a very nice bottle of vintage sparkling champagne for €1.30.
Sparkling?